Max, coming to you. Do you think Red Bull is a different beast this year?
Bit too early to say, but I had positive feelings in the car. But we'll find out in Q3 for the first race weekend where we are.
Max Verstappen's gone quickest overall in the middle sector. Hamilton now crosses the line. He's back on provisional pole with Verstappen trying to stop him. Gasly now to cross the line, stays fourth fastest. Max Verstappen's never had back-to-back poles in his life. He has now in Formula One, and by nearly 0.4 of a second, Max Verstappen has sent the Red Bull garage into raptures. He's on pole.
Finally, mate. That lap was good.
Yeah, 3 purple sectors. 3 purple sectors.
It's lights out and away we go, and it's Max Verstappen against Lewis Hamilton.
As Nico pointed out, you need to be a little bit of a killer to be able to destabilise Lewis Hamilton.
Hamilton's going to force Verstappen the long way round. By the time they get to the corner, he's about a third of a car in front. By the time they get out of the corner, he's a whole car in front.
But will Hamilton be complaining because he took the position whilst off the racetrack?
So we'll take on the outside of the track.
Okay, for the moment, let Lewis through. Let Lewis through.
Sir Lewis Hamilton, as he is now, crosses the line and wins the Bahrain Grand Prix. Max Verstappen and Red Bull come home to take second place. The fireworks are going off around the Bahrain International Circuit. Those last few laps have lit the spark for 2021.
We talked on the podcast so many times in the build-up to the season just how much we wanted to have Verstappen and Hamilton battling. And there's always that thinking of, oh, it's going to be too good to be true. But then we had it in this race, didn't we? Right down to the checkered flag.
Hamilton versus Verstappen. Them two going wheel to wheel until the last lap doesn't really get much better.
I'm trying to think of a season opener that I've enjoyed as much as that.
Very closely matched cars and teams.
A really good chance of this season going the distance. I think we're going to get that fight that we really want.
And it's a shame that we're having to talk about it, given we had such an amazing finish.
It's an appropriate time to mention track limits.
Obviously around track limits.
A bit of controversy, I suppose.
Track limits
are
a joke.
The off-track pass.
For track limits this weekend. Running wide there, I think it was like 29 times out of 56.
Do you think this counts as Hamilton putting one over Verstappen? Or?
Yeah, I think the Red Bull probably was a little bit faster. But
if that's Mercedes at its weakest, then obviously I can see why people might be concerned.
Does Max have the head and maturity to win a championship? He lost the race today just as much as Hamilton won it.
So Hamilton is only 8/100ths off his best time so far. Bottas not improving at the moment, you'd think, to challenge pole position. What can Sergio Perez do? Leclerc now goes fourth fastest. Hamilton is within touching distance, crosses the line and blitzes the final sector. It's a 1:14.411 from before though that keeps him on pole. Perez has never started on the front row before. He's on the front row now though. That's a much better qualifying from the Mexican in the Red Bull as Verstappen crosses the line and Perez out-qualifies Verstappen. Hamilton is on pole. Perez, for the first time in his career, starts on the front row. Verstappen settles for P3.
That is it. Wow, look at the time. We got it. You got it, mate. Beautiful work. That's a surprise, isn't it?
Okay, Max, that is P3.
Ah, fuck. I went off in turn 3. Ah.
It's lights out and away we go. Verstappen gets an excellent reaction. Hamilton, though, is ahead of Perez, but not for long, as Max Verstappen now on the inside joins Hamilton in battle. It is Hamilton and Verstappen. Verstappen and Hamilton wheel to wheel going into the field of the Tamburello chicane. Hamilton is forced wide and he's lost a little bit of bodywork as well.
I don't know if I've got damage. Pushed me right wide in turn 1.
Verstappen leads the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix from Lewis Hamilton. The two championship protagonists came together at the first braking point.
he quickly pulled away from Hamilton, but then once Hamilton's tyres finally came up to temperature, the car became really quick.
Oh, and sliding off the road goes the Mercedes of Lewis Hamilton.
It looked like it happened in slow motion on Hamilton's onboard. He said it felt like minutes waiting to engage reverse. Put him in a position where it looked like his race was run.
This is absolute disaster for Lewis Hamilton.
So sorry, guys. Yeah, no sorry.
And we're going to get a safety car now, because that's Valtteri Bottas and George Russell who are out of this race. The race has now been red flagged.
What's he doing? Honestly, is he a for what?
After the red flag, we can go racing again.
This is where he was done a favour by red flag. Crucially, Hamilton got that lap back. That was a central slice of luck to Hamilton that allowed him to then come back through to second place.
Max Verstappen, for the first time in his career, takes victory in Italy, and it was a victory by a long, long margin.
Interesting bit of needle between them after the race. It's all been very good tempered so far, hasn't it, between the two of them? Very respectful, but it's the first time I saw a little bit of an edge between them. I think they both realised that the championship is already a straight fight between the two of them, and therefore they're going to be harder when they're racing each other.
Lewis Hamilton isn't making much impression on the timing charts at the moment. Valtteri Bottas looking good for a pole position, but we shall see.
Lewis really having to fight the car as well in turn 14, and then you have to wait for him to get on the throttle for good measure.
Verstappen then not setting times that are going to look anywhere like a pole position at the moment. Valtteri Bottas crosses the line, doesn't improve on his provisional pole time. Verstappen then racing towards the line, didn't set a time. This time is only good enough for P3. It's where he started the last race, and it's where he's ended up now. Hamilton to the line now. He can't improve either. It's Valtteri Bottas on pole for Mercedes here in Portimao.
Hard work, mate. Yes. Thank you.
And it's lights out and away we go. Bottas and Hamilton both getting it away well. Perez not the best start, and he's already got the Ferrari alongside him and ahead as Bottas goes into turn one in the lead from Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen. Hamilton trying to pull out of the slipstream that Max Verstappen's getting behind him. Verstappen goes into turn one ahead of Hamilton. He's up into second place. Bottas continues to lead then. We're on lap 11 of 66. Here comes Hamilton on Max Verstappen. Hamilton retakes that second place. The gap was 0.8 of a second at the end of the last lap. It's half a second as they cross the line now. Hamilton's got DRS. He's within touching distance of his teammate. He's ahead of his teammate Lewis Hamilton. Goes round the outside of Valtteri Bottas. And wow, what another good move that was from the world champion. And Sir Lewis Hamilton's been night and day ahead of the rest here in Portimao this afternoon. He wins the Portuguese Grand Prix.
Yeah, it's not a bad strike rate so far. We've been spoiled with how the 2021 season has started. I think 3 races in a row, actually seeing them fight for position, fight for the win.
I still don't think we can definitively say which car was ultimately better. I suspect this weekend it was the Mercedes, but I don't think that's the reason that it won. I think if Verstappen had started from pole, yes, he probably would have won the race. It's just turning on the smallest little thing.
I'm loving how all of these small details are having such a big impact.
My 3-word race review. A different Max. And, he made that mistake round turn 14, and Hamilton got him, and that was it, and these small errors are what add up over the course of a season.
But that's the problem. He probably has made a lot of these silly errors before where he's gone off the track, but now it's in a title fight, and especially against someone like Lewis Hamilton, he has to be absolutely
He's never believed deep down that he can win the world title until this year. And now I feel like it's starting to boil over just a tiny bit.
How's it looking for the sectors, Crofty?
Advantage Hamilton so far from Verstappen and Bottas, but Perez with a personal best 21.8 through that first sector. He is within contention as well. Verstappen is off the pace by about 1/10 at the moment. It's looking good for Lewis Hamilton and for Mercedes, but don't forget, Verstappen mighty strong in the final sector, and Lewis wasn't great coming out of the chicane there. Hamilton crosses the line. Provisional pole is his. Can Verstappen get pole? No, he can't get pole. It's a ton of poles for Lewis Hamilton in Formula One.
Yes! Great job, guys. That was hard work. Oh, that was hard work.
It's lights out and away we go. And I think Verstappen got a slightly better start than Lewis Hamilton, and also Charles Leclerc a better start than Valtteri Bottas. Hamilton is just leading ahead then of Max Verstappen on the inside of the Ferrari Esteban Ocon as Verstappen goes into turn 1 and goes past the Mercedes. He got his elbows out there, Max Verstappen, and takes the lead of the race from Lewis Hamilton and then Valtteri Bottas. Mercedes committing then to the two-stop strategy.
So, has that caught Red Bull unawares?
Verstappen is struggling here. Hamilton is right on his tail. Hamilton goes round the outside at turn 1 and the charge is complete. And it's the checkered flag as the winner of the Spanish Grand Prix for Lewis Hamilton, who strengthens his grip then at the top of the table.
Run of 4 races, it's kind of the first stanza of the championship battle. 3 wins for Hamilton, 1 win for Verstappen, a 14-point lead in the championship for Hamilton, and then of course Mercedes, a healthy little lead in the Constructors' Championship as well. It's been a really solid foundation for Mercedes, and I think it shows how strong a team and driver combination that is. We've been talking about this when they've been dominant, about how well they're executing, but this has really shown, even when they're pushed, they've got a lot of tricks, a lot of performance, the ability to pull these results out of the bag consistently.
Seven poles in his career for Charles Leclerc. What a special pole this would be as he comes to the line now, crosses it and moves fastest overall. 1:10.3. Hamilton only 5th fastest on his first run. This is going to be a pretty bad qualifying session for Lewis Hamilton unless he can pull something amazing out of the bag. Look at this, 3.5 tenths down. How often do we say that about Lewis Hamilton in qualifying? We don't. And and it's going to come to nothing for Max Verstappen. He might have been setting the pace, but Charles Leclerc, the man on pole, has gone into the barriers.
Fuck's sake! For fuck's sake, man!
Leclerc's in the wall at 16.
Fuck, man! Oh, this would have been the fucking lap. Fucking shit!
Not only will Charles Leclerc not start from pole position, he will not start the Monaco Grand Prix at all.
It's lights out and away we go. Bottas got away well. Verstappen comes over to cover him and does cover off the Mercedes into Sandoval. Bottas locks up. He's in second. Carlos Sainz third. Then comes Lando Norris. After Norris, Pierre Gasly. Then Lewis Hamilton and Lance Stroll.
Lewis box opposite Gasly. Box opposite Gasly.
And the nice stop, 2.2 seconds. Vettel reacting then and has that inside line as they come through Sandoval. Vettel, is he ahead of Gasly? They're going to go wheel to wheel up by revanche here. I think Sebastian Vettel ahead of Pierre Gasly. Yes, he is.
What has just happened, guys? It's lost 2 places.
Well, he's lost 2 places there because Sebastian Vettel has managed to jump Lewis Hamilton by another Vettel overcut. It's all going horribly wrong for Mercedes. This is going to be his first podium in Monaco. It's his first win in Monaco. Max Verstappen leads the World Championship and wins the Monaco Grand Prix.
Yes. Oh, nice race. Oh, well done. I think we managed that really well, guys.
Okay, Lewis, that's P7.
The next race will be tough, so it's going to be, we've got a good battle on our hands.
I don't think that Hamilton sometimes just has really off days at Monaco, and yeah, Mercedes pretty much got everything wrong. They tried to do the undercut when it was the overcut is what you needed to do. So they even messed up on strategy. So it was almost like a complete 180 of last race when we were lauding Mercedes' strategy and saying how bad Red Bull were.
Max won this 5th race of the year. Hamilton was slowly creeping away with that title. I'm not saying it was championship over, all that kind of stuff, but Max needed to balance things out a little bit more, because if we'd got to race 5 and it was 4-1 to Lewis, then we might be in a bit of trouble. But he did it, which is excellent, and now leads the driver's title, and Red Bull lead the constructor's title. So this is what we wanted when we started the season.
It is. I'm with you in the sense that, Max needed to have the momentum swing back in his favour a little bit, and the fact that he's leading the World Drivers' Championship for the first time ever in his career is, it's quite something.
It's Charles Leclerc on provisional pole. Max Verstappen's trying to make progress from third on the grid at the moment up into pole position. And Lewis Hamilton, we've got Yuki Tsunoda and a red flag. That's it for qualifying. Charles Leclerc will see himself on pole for a second race running.
Red flag, Max. Red flag.
Fucking shit show all the time like this in Q3.
5 lights on ahead of the drivers. It's lights out and away we go. Leclerc gets away well ahead of Hamilton and Verstappen, and then you got Sainz and Gasly scrapping away behind there. Hamilton's got the toe, he's got the slipstream, he doesn't need DRS, and he makes the pass to take the lead of this race. Verstappen is now second and chasing after the Mercedes. Leclerc down to third. I tell you what, Ted, Max Verstappen is away and he is going to be ahead. Hamilton's slow stop has cost him track position after the pit stop to Max Verstappen.
Okay, 5 laps to go, Max. 5 laps.
The fucking tire! Fuck!
And the red flag has now come out. The race is now going to stop. Perez on pole, Hamilton alongside him on the front row. Perez gets away well, Hamilton will wheel spin. Sebastian Vettel is coming at them as well. Perez tries to cut off Hamilton, who locks up and goes straight on. Perez leads from Sebastian Vettel, and then comes Pierre Gasly and Charles Leclerc, and Hamilton has gone from second in the race to falling out of the points. We lost the championship leader with a crash. We lost his main rival with a lockup at the restart. This has not been a good day for the top 2 in the championship. Sergio Perez wins the Azerbaijan Grand Prix.
Well done, Sergio!
Hamilton, he's gone from staring down the barrel of third place and a Max Verstappen win and this gap opening up in the championship to suddenly being second and Verstappen out of the race, and to then being second on the grid of a standing restart, getting a better launch than Perez, but as soon as Hamilton jumps on the brakes for turn 1, he locks up very aggressively the front wheels.
Verstappen's tyre failure and Hamilton's lockup cost them both so much potential point swing. Could we be looking back at Baku at the end of the year saying that's where he lost the title?